At LULU Designs, we don't just only do residential, we do commercial too, but that's only if I like ya. Let's check out this warehouse that I most recently finished. This is a warehouse I converted for so many different reasons. For work meetings, for friends and family to come and hang out, as well as him to do all of his hobbies at any given time. So to begin with, this was just one big, huge space. The client told me his ideas were to just have a kid's skateboard ramp so his kids could play. And from there, I was to take it and run with it and do whatever I wanted based on his needs. So part of my program, and program is when my client gives me their needs and wants, their wish list, their goals, what they're gonna do in this space. So part of the program was to create little spaces within the envelope of the big space. So I had to create a conference room. I needed to create a private versus a public space. Obviously, he's gonna work and tinker on certain things that he loves back in that space. He wants to skate on the skate ramp. And so from here over, I needed to create this barrier, but being the double height ceilings, I really wanted to make sure that a wall didn't go all the way up into the ceiling and it feel like it stops here. I wanted you to be able to see through, but also have the ability to have your own public versus private space. So adding this wall was a great way to do that. I also had to keep in mind that they're skating on the skate ramp. So they're gonna jump off and into the platform on the side, and we had to pick a material that was going to withstand. I couldn't pick glass. I didn't want a wall. Drywall obviously gets scuffed up. We all know that, skaters stand like this and they've got their wheels and it's gonna bang into things. So we needed something super, super sturdy and structural. So the steel is the perfect example with the grid on top. Acoustics was not an issue here. So having the grid on top was a great way to create a space without being a full wall, especially with the double height ceilings. So we get all the light flowing back and forth. Acoustics didn't matter. And what was a moment of, oh, that's really cool, is the skateboards can hang from this grid, so we don't have to build racks or do anything like that. You can have like a million skateboards on here, all the kids for all the family and all the friends, and it actually be its own art in a way. So because this was a warehouse, we kind of get what you get. And without putting this into its own room, I'm owning it. This is the water, this is the electrical, this is kind of the mechanical hub of the actual whole entire warehouse. So we're just owning it and making it an architectural feature. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. You have to pick and choose, but this is such a cool out of the box thing. I don't know, it's very industrial. And since this is a warehouse and it has an industrial vibe, it fits right in. So I'm not touching it. Every conference room has an intimate feeling into it. So you're gonna get multiple people in here, you're gonna get multiple people talking. Part of the program from the client was that he will have meetings in this room. So he needs to have enough for a board meeting, enough chairs. And so putting that all together in this one space, it needed a ceiling platform dropped for lights and for an overall feeling that you are in your room. Because this warehouse, we're building the walls, I needed its own envelope, its own pattern of wall. So within the ceiling, I have the suspended steel structure to make it feel like its own ceiling. And then I have all of these glass bowls, if you will, or glass spheres of lighting with this just really big mess of rope. So it's not so perfect, it's perfectly imperfect. Tying these around, looping them around, there's no rhyme or reason, but just knowing you have enough light for a board meeting makes it user-friendly. This overall space has a lot of square footage, but a lot of natural light. Because the cinder blocks are walls, they're painted white, we have a lot of reflection and the natural light coming through from the skylights up top. Making this steel grid and having the lights hang down from it, you're actually getting the ambient light from the entire space to work within the walls that I've made out of glass and steel. So all of these things I'm thinking through to make sure, okay, do we have enough light? Do we have a feel in here when you're seated with your laptop that you are in a corporate meeting? Do you have enough light? Are the acoustics okay? So each of these spheres is suspended by rope, and it's actually a really heavy duty twine, almost like a fabric, and it actually helps with the acoustics so you don't have a bunch of sound bouncing off the glass and bouncing off the cement walls. It actually helps to depress some of the sound. There's codes to every commercial space, so I'm very aware of all of those, and as they change throughout the years, it's really important to follow them and be up on all of the California codes that are set in place. Every warehouse or commercial building has a need for water fountains, and so I'm just owning it here because obviously if people go and skate, they can just come here to the water fountains. So all of these things from a commercial standpoint that I know to be true and have to be within the spaces I design are actually very functional. Almost like I know that the client from the program is going to go mountain biking, he's gonna go surf, he's gonna pick up another board and go somewhere else, or he's gonna take a bunch of kids everywhere, so he's gonna have gear and things. So he's gonna want a washer and dryer. He's gonna want to come in here and not go home with all of the stuff. He's gonna want to be able to keep everything he needs for this to be self-sufficient and keep, a washer and dryer. Just the little things, I think, in each of the spaces I provide my clients really makes such a huge difference to the end user that they will call me and go, oh my gosh, that was so smart, thank God we did that. Or, oh wow, you thought of everything and you really took the time. So it's really important. And for me, most of the success of my job is based on all the little details and the thoughts that I put into each of the spaces. So the type of cabinetry panels that I've selected are the flat front cabinets. I picked this so it feels a little bit more unfinished, even though it is finished and user-friendly and wipeable and all of the things. I wanted to stay true to the skate culture when I was designing and picking and selecting the door fronts. Imagining the amount of people that will be in here watching their kids skate, kids watching other kids skate, having not a lot of lounge seating and different places for the kids to perch, and having the selections that I picked be basically looking like raw materials, kind of indestructible is kind of what I was going for in here, and always having a place to sit and watch from both sides. All of these things I think about, and they are integral into the design and how it came about. So in this space, I mirrored a lot of textures and colors. You see the vinyl in the conference room I selected because pens are gonna drop on it and it needs to just be able to wipe off quickly. The leather here just gives you some comfort in the stitching and the choices I've selected here. The coloration of the finished cabinetry mirrors with the color of the kitchen cabinets. So everything has a reason. I just wanted to pick what would feel like raw, unfinished materials when in fact they're all finished and ready for kind of everyone to use and not worry too much about not doing this or not touching this. I figure kids are gonna be walking in here with their skateboards, knocking into things, and no big deal. I mean, that's why certain things I did, so they don't have to worry about it being so pretty and perfect. The thinking behind this was when you're coming downstairs, like after you do yoga and stretch on the mat, you can come all the way through and not have to travel all the way that way, but you can just pass through here, and this actually goes both ways. So you can come in and out freely without having to go all the way around. And then when it's shut, you don't even know it's functional. I had to have multiple sections within this one huge space. Places for people to come up and go to the stretching area or the other lounge area. I needed people to be able to freely move in and out. I needed people to be able to sit and just kind of cruise and have a place to sit even if it's on the floor and dangle your legs. And then up here, what I wanted to do is make sure that I'm picking materials that will change over time. Wood treads will probably turn gray, and that's the kind of the cool factor of this. So it will be changing with the year and how old it is. It'll lighten, brighten, get a little bit warmer, a little bit cooler depending on the years as we move through. We all know that wood grays out, so as the skateboard ramp changes color, I wanted the inside of this to actually flow with it so it doesn't look like everything was done at different times. Okay, so up here, I wanted the space to feel really flexible. You can do yoga, you can hang out with your kids and read on the floor, you can hang out on the sofa, they can, practice their gymnastics. This space just needed to be really kid-friendly and plenty of floor space for people to move around without committing too much. So the modular sofa makes a lot of sense here, depending on what people are gonna do. And it just has a great amount of square footage, lots of natural light, and plenty of room to do exactly what they want to do. I mean, she could even have a yoga class here if she wanted to. So as you can see, there's so many details that I design around to make sure that your space at the end feels just like you, is tailored to meet your needs, and far exceeds your expectations of how you'll use the space. So we do commercial and we do residential. All the details are always present in my head all the time for you to enjoy.